I gave them some food.
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 Food to
Crow
crow.
food.
Crow food.
No. 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 The cat wants to go outside. I say no, because it's evening. Okay. Where were we? Day 2.
Day 2.
Day 2 of our lesson. Day 2 of our meeting. Dreaming of Baikal, I fail to see the purpose of me being me.
Well, then there's some eternal question of why I am who I am. The question that many people ask.
Mm-hmm.
Connected to another question. Who am I? Really?
Mm-hmm.
What makes me the way I am?
Yeah, so day 1 we were going through the brokenness, and now we are smooth, we are flowing smoothly, we are dreaming now. Dreaming of Baikal. If you hold Baikal in your consciousness, in your, I'm not saying mind because it's not really mind as such. If you're holding Baikal, then you have the scales. And then next to Baikal, what's the purpose of me being me? How is me being me?
Yeah, so there's eternity,
Mm-hmm.
and can I just dream of it? Can I just
Mm-hmm.
dream of being in love with it if I am who I am?
Who I am.
I'm someone who writes
Mm-hmm.
or who sings a poetical song. I'm somebody who can do some music. But is it enough?
Mm-hmm.
Is it
Mm-hmm.
the way to connect? That's the question.
Well, apparently it is enough because he is connected now. Now maybe you can say that if Baikal is eternity, infinity, then whatever you do here will be just nothing. No matter how big compared to infinity, it's nothing. So is me infinite or is me nothing? Or is nothing is a kind of infinity? And why do I have to have a purpose? Maybe I just be me. I just be. There's no purpose. I just flow. Maybe. Between worlds, between waves, between words. Is it that space that is free? So we had 2 sides in the first big part. One side is where he is, the other side the cross, Baikal. Now we are in between.
Mm-hmm.
Between worlds, waves, words. So one becomes another, so waves are worlds and words. And there's no real difference.
And that creates the space that is free.
Mm-hmm. So between worlds, between me being me and Baikal being Baikal, that's between the two. Between waves, how is it between waves?
Isn't there calmness in between waves?
Mm-hmm.
There's one wave, there's another wave, and something in between. is not affected by these violent waves.
Well, technically, if you look at what a wave is, it's something really weird. Because a wave as such doesn't go anywhere, but as every successive place goes up and down and its turn, you think you see a wave. So between waves, again, how can it be between worlds, between realities? If you are here, that is your reality, you may say. So if you're between realities, then from your reality point of view, you don't exist. That place does not exist. Wherever you are, it becomes your reality. Or maybe not really. And again, a wave is continuous, but maybe there is a break, which again is invisible to us, same as the space between realities is invisible from the reality's point of view. Yeah, and you may say that the world is a wave, that we are all kind of waves in our physical sense of physics. And then again we connect it with poetry. I signed my name with a song on the cover page of Baikal, and now between words.
And twin waves, just because words are sounds, if they are pronounced. Yeah. The sound is a wave, as far as I understand. So they are also connected in this physics perception of the world.
Yeah, and then you think about a wave as a wave in the lake, of course. So Baikal is a bridge or portal in that sense too.
Yeah.
What is between words? Space again, which we ignore, but which is important, which brings sense to what we are reading. Our words are, again, a rhythm, a wave. Even if it's written, you have the rhythm of black and white, for instance, if it's black and white on paper. Or letters and space between letters, between words, inside letters, around letters, between lines. Have lots and lots of space. We have just drops of ink floating in the big ocean of space, really. Is it space that is free? How is it free?
Well, very often we say that in order to get to the real meaning of something, we have to be able to read between lines. In that sense, someone who only perceives the literal meaning is not free, because he is sort of he falls a victim to what the superficial reality of the words tells him, and the hidden meaning remains behind his reach, beyond his reach, and well, basically, if you can read between the lines, if you can, when there's bombs of rain, and you can, sorry, that's someone trying to reach me, but I might just pretend I'm not here.
Yeah, good idea, because you're not here, you're at Baikal.
Well, there might be someone who can walk in between these bombs of rain, these drops of rain, and in that sense, he is free because he knows his way around. He knows how bombs of rain operate. Probably because he's the one who starts this rain anyway. Yeah. So I think that this is and again, maybe if we remember old stories about someone writing cipher, you can also use a book, a normal book.
Yeah.
And you can use invisible ink to write in between lines, or you can use a sort of a code to make the lines say something else.
Well, okay, how is it space? How is it free? That was the question. So we can talk a lot about what is or what is not between words, and we don't have the or a, or well, we don't have the, just words. Again, soft, between, way, between words, between words. Space, is it space as in second stanza of part 1? Syncopating time and space, or is it different space?
Maybe it's outer space.
Maybe.
That is free.
Maybe space like emptiness.
Yeah.
How is it free then? You don't have to pay to get there, or what?
It is free because there's probably nothing in between. There's a void of some sort. But then you might say it's free because someone can feel the void. You might say that someone is free only as far as he doesn't feel the void. He lets the void remain where it is without filling it with something, with imagination, with some material.
Yeah, because as long as you have any kind of reference, it limits you.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, good. See the shoreline curve, the rocks, glance at them. Sky, water, stone. Everything else is tone.
The shoreline's curve, well, you say, I'm not sure I interpreted correctly, but you say that the outline of Baikal Sea, Baikal Lake, is feminine, and then all these curves are what makes it feminine.
So curve here can be a verb or could be a noun. Yeah.
Or can be, yeah.
So maybe the shorelines are alive and they are curving, doing it, not straight, or maybe look at the curve of the shoreline. Anyway, we have the curve, and again, a curve is a wave, is Baikal, is reality. Because it's not linear, it's a curve. Shoreline, again we had the shoreline, reaching along her shoreline tenderly, and reaching along her shoreline, which is curving, which is a curve. And the shoreline again is a kind of a border between land and water. So the curve which marks the transition. Maybe. The rocks, glance at them. Again, he's talking to us, remembering us.
Yes,
since
see, glance at them.
So he remembers that we're around. He still remembers. And why would he want us to see, to glance? Maybe just to bring us there.
Yeah.
Places there. The rocks. Glance at them. Sky, water, stone. Again, elements. He had sky in his hair. We have water, which is portal, Baikal. And now we have something new. We have stone. Because if you have water, you must have a stone, some stones or rocks for balance. Soft and hard. Everything else is tone. Again, tone, waves, song. Stone becomes tone. So hard reality is tone. It's just a wave, tone, a song. Yeah, you look at it, you think it's a hard object, but really it's just a song. Everything else is tone. Things are tones. Because we are in the wavy reality, in waves and curves, and we can float in between. Bird swoops down into sea, grabs fish, flying over poem, scratching around for words, unashamedly.
Here we have this connection between somebody, a bird, and the sea that is shaped by yet another break.
Mm-hmm.
So the bird swoops down into the sea. The bird grabs fish. These are all swift movements.
Mm-hmm.
Also violent movements. That's where
maybe just agile. It's not really aggressive.
Yeah, it's not really aggressive.
Skillful, maybe. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then in line 3, they are flying.
Mm-hmm.
And flying is much softer. The word fly is softer, and the movement becomes more elegant, becomes even beautiful. If you just imagine this typical seagull flying over the sea, there are lots of people who might watch them, and seeing seagulls flying over the sea is probably worth a painting or something. But here, of course, there's again something that comes unexpectedly, probably marking yet another break, because the bird seems to be flying over poem rather than the sea, the lake.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we have sea, as in number 3, see the shoreline curve and glance at them. And so the lake turns into the sea because we're looking at it. It's what we see, what appears to us. At the same time, you may say the bird, now we start to kind of populate the poem. We don't have people, well, not specifically. We have we have humankind, but we don't see any people. Now we have some life here, which is a bird, again, kind of spirit flying. But at the same time, the bird is the poet or mind of the sea, the deep unknown or deep strange, deep mystery, a sea of words. So swoop down into the sea, we grab something, what we can grab. What can a fish, a bird grab? Not a big fish, just of its size. So that's what we do. We come down to the sea, to the big mystery. We get what comes to us. Because the bird isn't wait. Oh no, I don't like that fish. I'll wait for another fish. I see a fish, I get it. Oh, that's what our mind does. We make our attempts at trying to get into it, to understand it. But all we do is swoop down into the sea and grab fish. And flying over a poem, like a poet's mind is flying over his poem under construction. Scratching around for words unashamedly. So that's what a poet does, yeah? Looking for words unashamedly, using dictionaries and things. Maybe. At the same time, again, a Baikal becomes a poem rather than a lake, a place. A cover page of Baikal, and now flying over a poem and see the lake, the Baikal, all the same. So again, Baikal exists as a physical body and as a lady and as a wave of poem, curve of poem. Ooh. And words, scratching around for words, and we can be between words. So again, it's the poet looking at himself and it's like, well, I'm just like a bird who's picking among rubbish, looking for some good rubbish to have unashamedly. Again, in power, I do what I need to do. I do what I like to do. I'm not ashamed. Why would I be ashamed? Oh no, that's not what decent people do. Oh really? Well, I'm not decent then. I'm me. I'm not this or that. Yeah? I'm not evil. If I'm dropping bombs of rain, I do it guilelessly, tenderly. No. I'm not afraid. I'm not shying to be great, because I am great. But at the same time, I know I'm just like a seagull feeding on some rubbish. That's me too. I can turn into a bird. Never the twain shall meet, and yet horizon squeezes infinity to a single point of blurred intensity for me. Mm-hmm. It's okay, never the twain shall meet. Twain
shall meet who?
The twain, the two, the twain, two.
Yeah, the two, yes.
To who? Who to? Him and Baikal, or two worlds, two realities. Because never the twain shall meet is just a saying, and he's playing with it here. Because he says, and yet they do meet. The horizon squeezes infinity to a single point. Just feel the power. If you squeeze infinity into a single point, it would be super loaded. Blurred intensity. So we have infinity and we have a single point, a dot. And a dot can represent infinity. It can contain infinity inside it. And then rather than be looking at something big, you can look at something small. A blurred intensity. We had blue, now we have blurred. Intensive. And for me, again, it's really personal. It doesn't happen just randomly. It happens because I'm calling, I'm asking, I'm looking for it. It's my intent, and my intent brings intensity. Where was intent? Writing lines of intent. And so it answers, comes back. It does it for me. It wouldn't happen just naturally. It would happen naturally for me, because I'm asking, because I can do it. Because I'm not ashamed. I'm not ashamed to be me infinitely. and the horizon squeezes infinity to a single point. Maybe you can imagine a TV screen going dark with a line and then disappearing. Single point of intensity in the middle. Maybe. Bold on Baikal's endless skyfulness. Count the waves, count the clouds, stretch credibility.
Yeah. So now there's a boat.
Mm-hmm.
A boat on Baikal Lake, but a very specific one.
Mm-hmm.
in that it's not just chattering well-known waters. It's somewhere on Baikal's endless infinity.
Mm-hmm.
And we noticed before how the sky and the lake meet together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's probably explains skyfulness in line 2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Or the whole sky is reflected in the lake. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the whole sky is reflected in the lake, and
yeah, so the whole universe is there.
The whole universe is there
Endless.
because
Mm-hmm.
obviously it's endless, and the endless character of it is made clear to someone who doesn't know it, because he's invited to count the waves.
Mm-hmm.
And there are too many. You can't count them.
Yeah.
They are uncountable. They are infinite. Count the clouds again. If the sky is clear, maybe there's no clouds in there. If there are clouds, again, what is a cloud and another cloud and another cloud? So they might be endless.
Mm-hmm.
Stretch credibility. Something which is infinite contains a paradox.
Mm-hmm.
You can't really believe
Mm-hmm.
that these. You can't imagine how infinite phenomena could exist, and yet you understand, either by counting the waves or by trying to count the stars or by trying to just
Mm-hmm.
count and count and count till you reach the maximum number, which is impossible. You, by way of logic, you understand that it's endless. So it's something which is endless does exist.
Well, it doesn't have to be
And
endless.
yes,
Can be just very, 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 very big.
yeah.
But from any practical perspective, it's the same as endless to you.
Yeah. Again, everybody can say, what's the largest number? There is no largest number. How do you know that? You can't really check that proposition.
Well, you can
because
you can always add 1 to that number.
Yeah, you can always
so that's,
add 1.
as they say in
Yes,
one of the antique books, or the Greek books, how do you know the universe is endless? Well, easy. Suppose you find some kind of an edge, then you come to that edge, you throw your spear somewhere on, which means there's more space. Then you come to that space and you can throw your spear again. So the universe is endless. Easy. Mm-hmm. So yeah, now Baikal is the sky, and it's there's no difference between crossing Baikal or crossing sky. There's no difference between counting the waves or counting the clouds. They are one. They're in the same place. And if in bird, we were kind of touching trying to intrude, but all we could do is touch and fly off again with the little fish. Here we go into Baikal on a boat more firmly. Yeah, now we are not on the shoreline, we are on Baikal, in Baikal. We cross into that reality, we can do it now. Now it's open to us. And that is an intrusion of sorts, but again, what is a boat compared to Baikal? It's tiny.
Yeah,
it's
so we might imagine a picture, we might even want to paint a picture, huge mass of blue Baikal and a tiny boat somewhere.
Yeah, and you can add to it the sky and the sky reflected, so there's no real border. A very thin line of horizon. Yeah, a stretch credibility. Again, infinity and credibility, how can they go together? Because you can only believe. Credo, believe. Yeah, oh no, it's impossible. Wow, you'd be surprised. Okay. Never the ice comes too soon, and never the water too deep, and never the gods of Baikal dally with our destiny needlessly. So suddenly waters are frozen again, ice. We just had a boat on Baikal and waves, so not frozen obviously. Now again we are jumping, we're switching to another aspect, the icy aspect, and it's deep, never the water too deep. Never the gods of Baikal dally with our destiny needlessly.
So now we are introduced to gods of Baikal. And these are gods in the sense that they can decide what our destiny is going to be. And they do not hesitate, they do not to take lots of time to decide.
So on one hand they are dallying, they are playing, they see it as a game, which it probably is. At the same time, they know what they're doing. Again, they don't do it needlessly. There is some need, so they do it. Yeah, so it's interesting. Now it's populated with bird, fish, rocks, and gods. An interesting place.
Oh, yeah.
And again, our destiny, not my destiny, not your destiny, our destiny, we're all in it together. You may think, oh, I live in Moscow, I've never been to Baikal, but the gods of Baikal know you're here. They know. Die with our destiny needlessly. Interestingly, that it's gods, not just spirits. So here we have a bit of, again, antiquity.
Yeah. And in antiquity there was also this Epicurus man who says the gods are not interested in our destinies. The gods are there just for us to worship them.
Well, the
but
Greek
these gods seem to be interested in what happens to us.
The Greek
They
gods,
do care
might they?
about us.
But not all gods. Some gods are not interested in humans. Some gods are interested in humans only to the extent that humans serve them. And some gods are genuinely interested and compassionate. So, and again, if you talk about gods, you automatically think about, again, Greece and Rome, and then you think about the great big mountain where the gods are supposed to be living. And then you may say, well, a lake is a mountain reversed. Like people say about Loch Ness, that Loch Ness is as deep as a mountain is high. So a lake is a mountain reversed. Again, that one is high, that one is deep, but it's the same. So gods can live there happily, because it's the same. Never the water too deep, it says here. Deep water, high mountain, all the same. Interesting. And of course, again, we have never, never, never. Negation and infinity at the same time. Negative infinity. Here, second page. Did the wind tell you what I want to say? Did the owl rise, slap its tail, and win your heart's gaze?
Oh, we had. Did I tell you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, did the wind tell you?
Mm-hmm.
And the wind knows what I want to say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because now we are on the surface. Wind is not under the lake; it's above the lake. Mm-hmm.
It's above the lake, and
wind is like breath.
Like breath, and wind is what makes waves possible.
Mm-hmm. And you, who is you? You, the reader, or you, Baikal, or you, someone else?
It might be Baikal, because somehow the wind might be nice to Baikal. It might sort of scratch the surface a little bit to transmit the message. Mm-hmm. It might be the case, but it might also be the case with us, the readers. Mm-hmm. Maybe the wind, which blows everywhere, can help us understand the message.
Mm-hmm. So usually it's like I talk to the wind, but the wind can talk to you too. And it knows what you want to say before you say it. What I want to say now, not what I wanted or what I said. So again, interesting wind. And again, that's a kind of communication. You sign your name with a song, you drum your fingers on the edge of eternity. And the wind is also of that kind.
Yeah.
Again, what I want to say, but what I want to say, why not what I say? Why am I going to say it, or am I not going to say it? Is it just something that I want to say, but I can't? What is it?
Or maybe I can't find the medium.
Mm-hmm.
We mentioned the words previously, and the words might be not enough. Mm-hmm. There might be a need to be able to understand the code. There might be a need to be able to read between the lines, and probably that's what the wind can do. There's my sort of soul spirit that probably wants to say something. There's wind, which is also sort of a spirit, maybe.
Yeah.
And they might be better equipped to understand each other.
So then you may remember the Genesis the very beginning of spirit above waters, rushing across waters. So that's what we have here, exactly. Infinite waters before creation. So the world which is not yet born, the waters, infinite waters before creation, and the wind, the sky, the wind, the breath above it. Because if you remember, when we looked at the psalm in Hebrew, we mentioned that the word ruach is wind and breath and spirit, and it's feminine grammatically. So maybe that's where we are in the beginning of the beginning, before the word, before there was the word, just the spirit above waters, maybe. So did the Omul rhine slap its tail? What can you say about that?
Well, we populated the lake with fish.
Mm-hmm.
So, as far as I understand, Omul is
A fish? Mm-hmm.
is a fish, and fish tend to have tails. So, on the surface, there's nothing special about it, but the word rise
Mm-hmm.
brings us back to the previous lines in part
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
1 of the poem.
Rising of the moon.
Yeah, and then this sort of fish becomes
A messenger.
a messenger, maybe, yes. Something that rises
Mm-hmm.
above waters,
Mm-hmm.
like
Mm-hmm.
what we said in line in part 1, like a mountain or mountains that also rise above
Yeah.
water.
Or
that
again,
might,
deep dark water, and from that deep dark water something rises.
yeah,
Again, towards us, there's a reply of sorts, something awakes, and then again it's om, like om, like in mantras, om. So it's a magical fish, shamanic fish, om. Maybe. So, and again we connect the sky, the wind, and the water, as the sky is infinite with the wind. So the waters are deep and infinite with the Omul. Slap its tail, which is kind of funny, kind of a bit of humor, maybe.
well, yeah, but probably when fish jump also they
Mm-hmm.
make a splash
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
on the water's surface with their tails. So that is, but of course that is something that we might enjoy, we might find funny.
Well, the slap is funny because when you have a slap, it's like a kind of a comedy. You use slapping in comedies, and slapping again connects us with part 1, where we had things hitting surface. So maybe it's like drumming. Maybe the Baikal lake is drumming back using Omul, because Omul is a part of Baikal, maybe. And here specifically, did the wind tell you what I wanted to say? Did the Omul slap its tail? So tail like the tail of a fish, and tail like a story, I guess. So slap its tail is same as I'm drumming my poem. I'm talking to you by drumming my fingers, and you talk to me by, again, sending vibration, slapping the tail. And win your heart's gaze. Lovely. So we were looking, glancing, seeing, now gazing, but not just gazing, a heart's gaze, which is obviously deeper, maybe more personal. Winning, we have wind and winning connected here somehow. And now it's like a bit more positive after all the broken dates. Now we're finally winning your heart. Love story, winning heart with a fish. Again, something they use in comedy is slap in the face with a fish.
Yeah,
Fish
they do.
slap. They do that. If I drown all sorrow in the deepest hollow of this lake, if I drum all night, what then?
So there is some sorrow.
Mm-hmm.
This
Oh,
might,
there is. We can feel it through the poem. Mm-hmm.
yeah, maybe it also relates to the memories that are stored in the lake.
Mm-hmm.
Memories that might be full of sorrow. Also, and then you do not cancel the sorrow. It's not now, but you bury it, drown it somewhere really, really deep.
Mm-hmm.
In this lake, so that it is still remembered, it's still contained in the lake, but
maybe the
it's
lake
no longer part of me.
can change it. Maybe you can offer it to the lake and then it will be changed, neutralized of sorts. Well, then again, it's a kind of a joke called drowning sorrow. Again, an expression when you get drunk to forget about your troubles. But here it's literal, because we have literal water where you can do it. In the deepest hollow, again empty starlight, now in the deepest hollow of this lake. And now if I drum all night, coming back to communicating by simple means, again drumming, drum all night. So what happens if you drum all night? Well, a logical answer is like, wow, I expect something magical happen. You can't just drum all night and nothing happens. It's magical, it's shamanical.
Yeah, the neighbors will arrive.
What then? Maybe nothing. Again, maybe I can try, I can put a lot of effort in it, I can stay up all night, I can drum, I can send my signal again and again and again, but there's no guarantee that I will get an answer. And who is he talking to here?
Again, he might be talking to us, he might be talking to the lake as well. Tell me, he's saying to the lake, what happens if I drown all sorrow in your deepest hollow?
Well, he doesn't say your, he says this lake, so he's not talking to the lake.
He's not talking with the lake.
Maybe he talks to himself.
Maybe he talks to himself.
I guess that's why it's such an amazingly flowing poem, because sometimes he talks to us and then forgets about us and talks to the lake, and then he turns to himself and talks to himself again. And he doesn't really care that we might be sitting and waiting. Oh, what else can you tell us? you started talking to us. You can't just turn away and talk to yourself or to the lake. We are here. We are waiting for you to tell us something else. But he doesn't care. He's flowing. Again, like water, like a summer cloud. Now he's here, now he's gone. Beautiful. And again, all night, we come back to night time. And we know the last time when it was night, he kind of drew the empty starlight. And again, draw empty starlight, and if I drown all sorrow, again we have the connection. Again, I tried, I laid my hand upon the night and draw the empty starlight. And again, maybe I can try it differently. Maybe I can succeed if I drown all night. But what then? You're waiting for some culmination, conclusion, prize. Well, I can't promise you anything. I'm just trying, I'm just playing. Calling. So sorrow and hollow. The lake has a deep hollow, but maybe the deep hollow in him, with lots of sorrow in there. How do you work with it? What do you do? If you have all the sorrow of humankind here, what do you do? How do you go into it and stay alive? What then? Skimming over the waters, I was lost to part with spirit, lost to leap into fragile form. What
so
happens?
Now there's I again. There's spirit, and I think the word spirit makes its first appearance here, doesn't it?
So we had gods.
Yes, and we had wind.
Had wind. Yeah.
That probably precedes spirit, so spirit might be wind on a much higher plane. And well, what happens when you part ways with your spirit? You die. But he doesn't say it's my spirit. It's just some spirit.
Yeah.
It might be some spirit like.
It's like they're skimming together with spirit.
Yeah.
So again, skimming over the waters. When I become the bird, become the wind, I go out and I, again with the wind, I rush above the waters. But I have to come back. I have to be grounded again. I hate it, but I have to do it. I love being out with spirit. I have to be back, even though I love to leap into fragile form. What is the fragile form? Human form.
Human form. Is it fragile?
It is. It's really very easily damaged, you know. A bit too hot, a bit too cold, a bit less oxygen, a bit more pressure than usual, you're dead or damaged or dead. Very easily, a little brick of falling on your head from above. Puff! You're gonna. It is a fragile form. So what he says here, again, he is out, he is great, he is big, he is infinite. He is infinite, he is spirit, he is with spirit, and he hates to leave it, but he has to come back to the small self, to the fragile form, because spirit is not fragile. How can you hurt spirit? No way. But the body form is fragile. And he can see that it's not like bad or smelly. It's fragile. Would you rather be free and infinite or small and fragile?
Can I be neither?
No, you can't. So anyway, he knows he has to come back. He has to come back, has to come back. Again, we have loathing. Loathing. Doesn't like it. And we have, again, the big Baikal and endless skyfulness. And the fragile form which sits on the shore drumming for nothing, maybe. Night falls, and now you'll not know where I start or end. I'll take you through the veil beyond.
That's night again.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't just come,
Mm-hmm.
It falls.
Yes. Falling. Do we have something else falling? Maybe not.
Well, we had night in stanza 7 of the first part.
Yeah.
But then it
We keep
just
coming
appeared.
back to it. We keep coming back to it, don't we?
Yeah, yeah.
Again, what is night? In here, what is night? Time of magic, or time when the unknown is around you, so you can't see because you don't know. Not that you don't know because you can't see, but you can't see because you don't know. Night falls. Now you'll not know where I start or end. Why would you want to know where I start or end? Maybe it's the lake talking to him. Maybe it's Baikal talking to him. Or maybe it's him talking to us.
Still from the standpoint of a limitless spirit.
Apparently. Or maybe he says it doesn't matter if I'm a limitless spirit or if I'm in my fragile form, because you will not know where I start or end. Again, why would it be important to know where he or she starts or ends?
Because it provides clear dimension.
Mm-hmm.
It helps us locate.
And we need to be in
It makes
between
them
without
available
any
and
reference
understandable to us.
points. Yeah, because like we said before, reference points limit us. If we have any reference point, that limits us. So now we don't have any reference points. And if I don't know where I start or end, again it's endless, startless, endless, infinite, eternal. Again, we don't rely on our usual eyes. We're not seeing, because it's night, now we can't see. There's only heart's gaze to guide us. You'll not know where I start or end. So you'll not know where you start or end, for that matter. So I'll take you through the veil beyond. So if you don't know where it starts or ends, you can go right through it. Because you stop defining reality. If you can see through your eyes, like, okay, I'm going from that room through the door, I can see, or I know in my head that there's another room as I walk through it, and I walk through it and I find this other room, maybe because I've just created it by knowing it must be there. But if I don't know what is there, like, it can be anything, no thing, then I can take you through the veil beyond. So you may think that not seeing limits you, but really it frees you. It makes you free. again, not knowing, you may say, oh, it's bad not to know, but it can be good not to know, because again, you won't have to unlearn something that you learned. What again sets the frames for you. And now we have a promise. I'll take you through. Who am I and who are you? The lake talking to him talking to us, or does it even matter? Maybe it doesn't matter. Happens all at the same time. Of course, as we look through the poem, you may notice that we don't really have any punctuation. Because punctuation does not exist in this place, in this space. It flows. And punctuation would be, again, a kind of interruption of the flow. We don't have it here. We're flowing. If the teeming life of summers, too short, the biomass of concern and thought is not enough. Do you think that the teeming life of summers is too short?
Well, it is. Because you imagine this teeming life as something typical of summer, maybe here in Russia, of something typical of lots of other points where there's lots of life. Italy, maybe, something. But we are often told that our summer here is too short, and that's what people think. You can also say that this life of summers is just human life.
Yeah.
Which might be full of events, full of experiences, and yet it is too short. Too short for what? Again, some people say that life is too short, probably because they have a certain purpose. They need more time to make something true. Some people might say that they sort of might as well be dead. So it all depends. But if we remember summers and teeming life might include some good creatures coming our way, some bad creatures coming our way. So if we imagine just a summer which is full of blossoming trees, animals, such
in
as
summer everything comes to life.
Yes, including some things that might be annoying to us.
Yeah.
So
not just good.
So, and then it's probably good that it is too short for our. I don't know if we think that it is full of experiences that are bad experiences. Maybe it's better.
It's all the beauty in the eyes of the beholder. It's only bad if you think it's bad. It's neither good nor bad. It's like a charge in physics. A positive, negative doesn't mean it's good or bad. It just is. It's what you make of it. It's the same with dreams. A dream means nothing. It's how you interpret it. Again, I could tell you a story how a woman sees the same dream, and the first time she comes to the rabbi and she asks him about the dream, and he interprets it in a good way, and that's what happens. And she sees the same dream again, comes to him again, he does the same thing again, the same good thing happens. And the third time she sees a dream, the same dream, very same dream, and she comes to him, but he's not at home, and he just has some students, and his student says, "Oh, I can interpret it for you," and he interprets it in a sad way, catastrophic way, and that is what happens. The dream is exactly the same. It's how you interpret it. The experiences are neither good nor bad. They are. It's how you take them, really. So anyway, here we have too short. You may say, Tim in Life of Summers is too short, but he has only 3 days. Not 3 months, 3 days. And in these 3 days, he has to come across and be back and be magical in many ways. So you may think that summer is too short, then how about you only have 3 days to accomplish what you have to? Yeah. Too short, it's always too short. Again, dreaming of Baikal, I failed to see the purpose of me being me. As you look at infinity, then any time would be too short compared to infinity. All comes to zero, placed next to infinity. Yeah. The biomass of concern and thought is not enough. Wow, what's that about? Now, concern and thought, which we believe or perceive as something immaterial, or something not unreal, but not tangible, let's say, here becomes a biomass, becomes solid. Concern and thought. So thoughts are heavy, again, and thoughts are like worries, sorrow. We had sorrow, now we had concern and thought. So thought is kind of a negative in that sense here. Thinking is heavy, it's a biomass. And concern is a kind of a plasma in the blood of our mind, you may say. Can you say it's plasma in the blood of your mind?
Well, I can't say that. I can't even start saying that.
Well, maybe it's too horrible. So, not enough. How not enough? Not enough for what? So we need it, but we need more concern, more worries, more thoughts, or what? Again, it's like I only have 12 hours, 12 parts in a day. And in each part, I only have 5 lines, 5 short lines to say what I need to say. So some words remain unworded, unfinished. The flow has no stop. The flow has no logic. It's like a Monty Python show. There's no punchline. It flows, and maybe I can't say certain things because they're unthinkable. The ideas and feelings, maybe. But again, we have too short, not enough. Again, some kind of sadness. Because if you say that something is too short, you wish it were longer. You say it's not enough. You wish it was more, there was more. Why would you wish there was more concern? Maybe you need to reach some kind of a critical mass, and then it self implodes, sorts. Maybe it's not too heavy to be drowned in the lake, maybe. Comments?
Well, no, I'm just thinking of biomasses.
Yeah, so in the middle of this nice shamanic, romantic poem, we have a word like biomass, which is kind of interesting. Would you say that the fragile form of being human is related to being a biomass? Which is more than just flesh and blood, but also thoughts and ideas and concerns and worries. Also biological. Bio like two, going two ways, then back and there again. Okay, let's have another little break, and then if you're not too tired, we'll look at day 3.